Welcome back to the Daily Wisdom Podcast, everyone. We're on episode 36, and today, Monica, I really want to speak with a certain kind of urgency. It's not about condemnation, but truly it's a plea. It's love, but sometimes love doesn't whisper. Sometimes it just stands in your doorway and says, "Do not let this moment pass you by."
I feel that, Henry. That resonates deeply, especially when we think about how we grow up. I mean, we've all heard that beautiful, freeing sentence since we were kids, right? You can be whatever you want to be when you grow up. It came from everywhere, our parents, teachers, even TV. It sounded like pure possibility.
Exactly! Unlimited potential. The world is your oyster. But then, Monica, something shifted. As soon as that dream was spoken, the training, the curriculum of our lives, it just changed. Suddenly, it was all about go to school, ace those tests, get the diploma, earn the degree, polish the resume, nail the interview, land the job, keep the job, climb the corporate ladder, become a supervisor, then a manager, director, maybe even a VP if you're lucky enough, patient enough, useful enough to somebody else's system.
It's a stark contrast, isn't it? Like, on one hand, we're told to dream limitlessly, to imagine being anything, but then, almost exclusively, we're trained to be excellent cogs in someone else's machine. It's a jarring contradiction.
It's not just jarring, it's a civilizational contradiction. It has profound consequences that ripple through families, communities, our emotional well-being, and even generational outcomes. We're told to dream like owners, but we're trained to behave like applicants. We're taught to imagine limitlessness and then disciplined into dependency. We're told we can build, but most of us are only educated to qualify for someone else's build.
And the real tragedy, I think, is that so many of us never even stop to question it. We just accept it as the way things are. We don't ask, why is the highest dream in my community often just reduced to getting hired by someone else? It's not about attacking work. Honest work is honorable. But the unconsciousness, the lack of questioning, that's where the problem lies.
Absolutely. It's not about mocking anyone's career or despising labor. If you work hard, God bless you. If you provide for your family, God bless you. But I have to ask, who told you that the highest use of your gifts, your incredible potential, was to spend your life strengthening a structure you don't even own?
That's a powerful question. It really makes you think about the narratives we've absorbed. Who convinced us that the peak of our aspiration should be a seat, a keycard in someone else's house, when we were born with the capacity to build our own? And we're taught to celebrate that keycard. You know, I got the promotion, I got access, but never to pursue the keys, the actual ownership.
And then we're sold this idea that security lives in employment. But history shows us, over and over, that the employee is often the first one sacrificed when markets shift, budgets tighten, companies merge, or technology advances. It's not security, it's often a temporary assignment in someone else's game.
That hits home. I've seen it firsthand, friends losing jobs they thought were safe because of market changes or a new CEO. It's a stark reminder that true security might actually look very different from what we've been taught. It's like an awakening, not a condemnation.
Exactly. And when you look at Scripture, it actually aligns far more with ownership, stewardship, multiplication, and wise building than many people realize. From Genesis, God didn't just create humanity to survive. He gave us dominion. He said, "Be fruitful, multiply, replenish the earth, and subdue it." That's not dependency language, Monica. That's language of responsibility, expansion, and constructive authority.
It completely reframes it, doesn't it? We often hear those verses, but we rarely connect them to economic empowerment or community building. When you say subdue it, it implies taking charge, cultivating, making something out of it, not just working for someone else's harvest.
The Proverbs are full of this wisdom too. The hand of the diligent shall bear rule, not just survive, but rule. The soul of the diligent shall be made fat, not merely employed, but enlarged. And seest thou a man diligent in his business, he shall stand before kings. It says, his business, his enterprise, his productive offering. That's a stark contrast to merely being diligent in someone else's business forever.
And the parable of the talents, that one always stuck with me. It's not about celebrating passivity, it's about multiplication. The servants who took what they were given and increased it were commended. The one who buried his potential, his talent, in the ground was rebuked. It implies a divine expectation for us to utilize and grow what we've been entrusted with.
Heaven does not smile on wasted capacity. God is not glorified when gifts are hidden, ideas are buried, or communities are trained to consume but never construct. And think about Deuteronomy. It is God who gives power to get wealth, that he may establish his covenant. Wealth, properly understood, isn't just about personal indulgence. It's capacity, it's productive power, it's covenantal infrastructure, the ability to build, bless, preserve, transfer, and stabilize.
So when you talk about communities owning enterprise together, you're not just pulling that out of thin air, you're saying it's deeply rooted in the very fabric of how we're meant to operate, spiritually and practically. Stewardship, wisdom, multiplication, provision, leaving an inheritance, it's all there.
Exactly. So let's bring it home. What if the good job wasn't just the one you got from someone else? What if the good job was the one created by your own enterprise, by your community's imagination and discipline and ownership? What if it wasn't just clocking into someone else's dream, but helping to create a system that employs your sons, elevates your daughters, blesses your elders, funds your schools, stabilizes your neighborhoods, and dignifies your name?
That's a powerful vision, Henry. It shifts the entire paradigm. It moves beyond individual success to collective flourishing. But then the question becomes, how do ordinary people, not millionaires or celebrities, participate in building something like that? It sounds almost too good to be true, doesn't it? Is there even a blueprint for something like that?
And that's where the question gets uncomfortable, Monica, because what if that blueprint was available to you, right now? What would you do? Would you act? Would you move? Would you read, study, gather others, organize? Would you sacrifice enough to build something that could outlive you? Or would you keep complaining about the machine while defending your place inside it?
Ouch, that's a gut check. Because honestly, I think a lot of people are stuck in that cycle. They resent the system, they despise the exploitation, but they're emotionally loyal to the script. They want freedom, but they've adapted psychologically to needing permission. They want change, but only if that change doesn't demand imagination, discipline, sacrifice, or courage from them.
And here's where it gets even more direct. What if this blueprint was outlined in a simple paperback book? What if the threshold to enter this conversation wasn't a $10,000 conference or a luxury mastermind or some gated elite seminar? What if the price of entry was about $20? Would you buy it? Would you even consider it? Or would you, that same week, spend more money on food, entertainment, distractions, and the small comforts that help you tolerate the very conditions you claim to hate?
Wow, that's a stark contrast to put it that way. It really puts our priorities under a microscope. We say we want change, but sometimes we prioritize instant gratification over foundational investment. It's not theoretical, is it?
No, it's not theoretical at all. The West Philadelphia Billionaire Society exists. It's been available since November 2025. And here's the painful truth, Monica. The people who most need to wrestle with its implications are often the very ones most likely to dismiss it, to delay it, ignore it, mock it, or postpone it. It hurts to say, but love tells the truth.
It's a tough truth, but I understand what you're saying. It's like we've been conditioned, especially in the African diaspora, to look outward for rescue. Politicians, policies, permissions, instead of inward for organization and building our own strength. We sometimes confuse visibility or representation with true structural change.
Exactly. A system can give you slogans and still deny you structure. It can give you commercials and still deny you capital. Diversity statements are great, but they can still deny you durable ownership. And let's be honest, many systems aren't malfunctioning. They're functioning exactly as designed. If a system repeatedly extracts from your community, underdevelops it, entertains it, incarcerates it, educates it for labor but not leverage, then from its own point of view, it's not broken, it's successful.
That's a chilling thought. The system might be working perfectly, just not for us. So our hope can't just be asking the machine to become moral. It has to include building parallel strength, ownership, architecture. It's about planting a different field, not just protesting the harvest.
And the good news is, Monica, momentum is building. The message is spreading. People are starting to understand that ownership isn't greed, it's responsibility. It's organized love. It's what happens when a people decide their grandchildren deserve more than just speeches and hashtags. It's when vision gets tired of begging.
That's truly encouraging to hear, because it's about creating something sustainable, something that gives back and builds legacy. But I'm also hearing a but in your voice.
There is a but, and it's the sad news. Many of the people who immediately recognize the value of this blueprint aren't the people it was originally intended to awaken, and that should trouble us. Information is power, strategy is power, blueprints are power. If one group rejects wisdom, others will adopt it, adapt it, and advance themselves, while the original audience remains stuck debating and delaying.
That's a hard truth to swallow. It's a consequence, not cruelty. If you keep throwing away the map, don't be shocked when someone else arrives first. If you mock the blueprint, don't be surprised when others build with it. It's almost like history isn't patient with permanently unclaimed opportunities.
History is definitely not patient. There are moments when a generation is handed a door, not a fantasy, not a slogan, but a real door, and the moral test of that generation is whether it has the courage to walk through it. And to any rising rebuilder out there who has felt unseen, unvalued, exhausted, overlooked, hear me clearly. You are not too late. You are not too small. You are not too old. You are not disqualified because the world didn't clap for you sooner.
That's so vital, Henry. Because so many of us internalize those messages of not enough or too late, we need to wake up to our own value, our own agency. Wake up to the possibility that our lives aren't just supposed to end at employment, retirement, and regret. God put more in us than just survival.
Exactly. Community wealth, community ownership, community architecture. These aren't far-fetched dreams. They are disciplined outcomes. What's been marketed to us as unrealistic may actually be the most realistic answer to problems that politics alone will never solve. And I'll say one more hard thing in a soft voice, Monica. If we keep passing by these opportunities to build, our grandchildren will inherit more than just our stories.
They'll inherit our refusals, our hesitations, our explanations, the cost of our fear, the bill for every moment we chose comfort over construction. And yeah, they might look at us sideways. They might ask why we spent so much time reacting and so little time organizing, why we perfected outrage but neglected ownership.
They might ask why we were willing to march, post, argue, vote, complain, and consume, but hesitant to read, gather, build, and buy into a serious blueprint for transformation. What will we say if they ask? That we were too busy, too tired, didn't believe in ourselves, that $20 was too much to invest in a possible future, but not too much to waste on passing appetites. No, let that not be our testimony.
No, let our testimony be this instead. We saw the hour, we heard the warning, we recognized the door. We chose faith over fatalism, stewardship over spectatorship, ownership over endless dependency. We chose to build what could bless our children and our children's children. We chose to stop saying, somebody ought to do something, and instead became the people who actually did.
That is wisdom. That is love. That is responsibility. That is spiritual maturity with economic bones on it. So today, I'm asking you plainly, if there is a blueprint, why not read it? If there is a vision, why not examine it? If there is a possibility for your people, your family, your community, your future, why reject it without investigation? Why dismiss what you haven't seriously weighed?
Don't answer quickly, but answer with your next decision. Answer with what you read, answer with what you study, answer with what you share, answer with what you build. Are you content to spend your life maintaining somebody else's enterprise, or are you ready to become part of something that could one day bear your family's fingerprints, your community's values, and your descendants' gratitude?
The book, everyone, is the West Philadelphia Billionaire Society. This is not a scolding. This is a summons. This is an invitation. This is a trumpet blast. It's a plea wrapped in possibility. It's me telling you, with force and with kindness, that another way is available. And if something in your spirit is stirring right now, if your mind is stretching, if you're saying there must be more than this, then please pay attention.
That may just be wisdom calling your name. Thank you for listening to the Daily Wisdom Podcast. Visit mx3motivationalbooks.com and get your copy of the West Philadelphia Billionaire Society. Read it, wrestle with it, share it, and then ask yourself whether you were born merely to apply, or whether perhaps by the grace of God you were born to build.